Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA specific merchandise. It started with Caitlin Clark. And so now that we know all this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do, knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA was finally hitting its stride, poised to ride the Caitlin Clark wave straight into mainstream relevance and financial success, they let this happen. And by this, I mean the incident that has every basketball fan, every sports analyst, and even StephenASmith himself completely losing.
The celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson, be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post. Caitlin Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword, shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
Caitlin Clark, the woman who single-handedly transformed women's basketball from a niche interest into must-watch television that has people canceling dinner plans, is now sidelined with a left quad strain. Minimum 2 weeks, they say. That's 2 weeks of the WNBA trying to act like losing their biggest star, their golden goose, their living, breathing ratings magnet, won't send viewership numbers crashing faster than a house of cards in a hurricane.
Moving Caitlin Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlin Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep. All the tickets are literally half price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that don't sell tickets.
And who's the first person to completely lose it over this? The first to call out the absurdity of the situation? None other than StephenASmith, the same guy who's been backing Caitlin Clark since day one, while half the WNBA establishment treated her like some kind of basketball tourist who stumbled into their league by mistake.
Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, an Indiana league led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier.
Stephen A. didn't just weigh in on Caitlin Clark's injury. He went full-on nuclear. And honestly, it's long overdue. While everyone else is dancing around the obvious, trying to stay politically correct and acting like Caitlin Clark isn't, single-handedly propping up the league, Stephen came through with cold, hard truth so precise it could make a mathematician tear up. We'll find out. We don't know yet, he said when asked about the impact of Clark's absence. But I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings. Because if, for some reason, there's a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down.
We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings. Because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is validated.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. Oh, Stephen A., you brilliant, brutally honest mastermind. Because he's absolutely right, isn't he? The man might as well be sitting courtside with a stopwatch, waiting to mark the exact second the WNBA realizes it's been sleepwalking past its most valuable asset. It's like watching someone complain about being broke while ignoring a pot of gold sitting right in front of them. And Stephen? He's the one shouting, "The gold is right there." Let's break it down with some numbers, because clearly, A few folks in the WNBA front office could use both a calculator and a serious wake-up call. This season, games featuring Caitlin Clark have averaged 1.178 million viewers. Games without her, just 394,000. That's not just a drop, it's a crater. A 199% difference so massive, you could steer a freight train through it. To put it plainly, Clark's games are drawing 3 times the audience. 3 times. Even the most math-averse executive should be able to grasp that.
Rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is the Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana field?
But here's where it really heats up, folks. StephenASmith isn't just fired up about the injury. He's been building toward this moment for months. This is a man who's watched the WNBA fumble its handling of the biggest star it's ever had. He's seen legends like Cheryl Swoops treat Caitlin Clark like an outsider instead of the savior the league has been praying for. He's watched Commissioner Kathy Engelbert deliver lukewarm, half-hearted endorsements when she should have been organizing victory parades. And now, with Clark sidelined, Stephen is essentially delivering the ultimate, "I told you so." He's calling out the league in the most theatrical and accurate way possible, saying, the speculation, the assumptions, the claims about her being the golden goose? Validated, he went on. And if that's the case, then ride that wave. A rising tide lifts all boats. If her magnetic pull is what's bringing viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks proves that, then everyone needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. In other words, the WNBA's ratings are about to nosedive, and Stephen A. is standing by with the receipts, ready to wield them like a sledgehammer against everyone who's been too proud or too blind to acknowledge what's been obvious from the jump.
And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that way. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Let's hit rewind for a second and unpack how we got here. When Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, she didn't just join the league, she ignited it. She became a one-woman economic stimulus package. Her debut game, a matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, pulled in 2.7 million viewers on ABC, the most-watched WNBA game ever on ESPN platforms. That's not just a strong start. That's practically a miracle for a league that's been clawing for relevance for over 2 decades. But here's the wild part. Instead of the WNBA leadership falling to their knees in gratitude and offering up-burnt offerings to the basketball gods, we got crickets, lukewarm press releases, bland social media posts. It was like they were embarrassed by their own success, afraid to admit that one player could have that kind of impact. StephenASmith saw this unfolding in real time, and you could feel his frustration simmering with every interview, every highlight, every record Clark shattered. He watched her fill arenas, smash viewership numbers, and haul the WNBA into the national spotlight, while certain players and pundits continued to act like she hadn't earned any of it. Now, with Clark temporarily out of the picture, all of that pent-up frustration has finally boiled.
Brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm, and they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now, The young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark. It's about what she represents.
Stephen A. has been defending Caitlin Clark from day one, standing firm against critics who seem more focused on protecting their egos than embracing the rising tide that was lifting the entire league. When former WNBA players started throwing shade, acting more resentful than appreciative, Stephen called it out with zero hesitation. They act like there isn't, or hasn't been, legitimate resentment, he said, referencing Clark's vocal detractors. But no one's fooled. We all saw it. And now, we're watching Stephen's warning come to life in real time. Because Clark isn't just missing a couple of throwaway games, she's missing the games, marquee matchups, the kind that networks built their summer schedules around. That hyped-up rematch against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, gone. Multiple nationally televised games, poof. The financial impact is staggering when you really stop to think about it. The Indiana Fever isn't just without their best player. They've lost their primary revenue engine. Clark isn't only the leading scorer and top assist getter, she's the reason fans are packing arenas, tuning into broadcasts, and snapping up jerseys. Without her, the Fever go from primetime spotlight to just another team most casual fans couldn't identify if you gave them a roster and a head. But this is where Stephen A.'s frustration finally boils over. Because this whole situation, it was preventable. Not the injury itself. Injuries are part of the game. But the league's complete failure to protect and prioritize its most valuable asset, that's on them. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto a WNBA court, she's been taking hits that would make NFL linebackers pause. Flagrant fouls, reckless contact, and blatant targeting. And what did the league do? Shrugged it off like it was just competitive play. Meanwhile, Stephen A., like the rest of us, has likely been yelling at his TV, wondering how the WNBA could be this